Well, hello, NEDA ministry leaders. I'm here with Jimmy and Susie Callum, who will be speaking at our district conference in just about 2 weeks. So, Jimmy and Susie, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We're
Thanks
glad
for
to be
having
here.
us.
Well, why don't we start off just having you share a little bit about your stories? Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, we both grew up in North Jersey, which is north from where we are now, but I realize it's not north to you hardcore New Englanders. And we actually met at Bible college. And that's where we fell in love. And that's where we got married between my junior and senior year there. And then came south to North Carolina for ministry.
We were married 1 year when we came to the South, and the culture shock was off the charts because we were used to people in the North. Y'all are very honest. See, I said y'all, sorry. But up north, everybody's really honest. And down here, the first few weeks we were here, and people said, now y'all come by anytime. We thought that meant for us literally to come by. No, that meant call us 6 weeks in advance and maybe come by. But we're used to up north where people are like, come by or not. So it was culture shock to say the least.
It was. Well, we've been in ministry. We were in ministry for 42 years at the same church. And never intended that that's the way God was going to do it, but that's how he chose to do it. And we had the privilege of seeing it from a very small startup kind of church, all the way to grow it to what it was when we left in 2019. And just really were blessed to be able to be involved in the lives of people for really multiple generations in one church setting.
It's been an unusual experience for us. You know, I came from a Catholic background. I became a Christian when I was 16, and then I became a pastor's wife when I was young and dumb and innocent. But it's been a real incredible experience, and God was so good in leaving us in one place. There are many times we wanted to skedaddle and go somewhere else, but he just had us in one place. And I know for both of us, that's what grew our marriage. It grew us as parents and in our individual lives as well.
That's great. Well, it sounds like you have not been letting any moss grow since retiring. You guys have started a whole new ministry, a Tandem Spirituality. I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, Tandem really is where our heart is, which is after 4 decades of living in local church ministry and realizing that many times we're called on as pastors and pastors' wives to care for, and we should, and shepherd the flock that God entrusts to us, that we many times neglect our own lives, our own spiritual well-being. And so Tandem really has at its heart Christian leaders, pastors and their wives, other Christian leaders, to be able to provide a wellness check, if you will, for how they're doing in their walk with the Lord, how they're doing both spiritually and emotionally, and to give back in that sense from some of the years of experience, but also hopefully and prayerfully from the wisdom that God's provided for us. And so it's been on our heart, and we were able to get it launched and get it started, and excited to see what God's doing with it.
That's great. That's great. Well, lastly, I'd just love to have you share a little bit of what God's put on your heart for your time with us during October.
Yeah, I'll say this. We're not going to talk about how to strategize your church or to grow your church or any of those kinds of things. It's going to be in line with what our ministry is all about and what Sam has asked us to focus in on, which is you as pastors and couples, your hearts and what God's doing. And so we've got a couple places in Scripture we want to go. And once you talk about where just kind of the theme.
Well, we really know that during this time of COVID and all the other things that are happening, the trifecta of COVID, racism, the election, all those things, there's a lot of stress on you guys. Not just the pastor, but the whole family. Each of you are feeling something different and having to wrestle through your roles and trying to make a congregation happy and make your family happy. And so what we're hoping to bring to you is an idea of being restored, of not going back to the old days, but being restored now to go forward into whatever God is calling you next to. We have just a real excitement about being with you guys, and we're excited about the number of couples that are going to be there. We feel very strongly that pastoral ministry is not just the husband, but is the wife and the kids as well. And so we're excited to speak about that and encourage you. And we just can't wait to be with you guys. And maybe the weather will be cool for us as opposed to down here where it's a little warm.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we'll probably not share anything you haven't heard before, maybe nothing that you haven't preached before, but maybe to see it in a new way, in a new light, that you can just relax and see, what is it that God's trying to say to me in this day? What lingers for me as I leave Spofford after this brief retreat? What would linger that would have a great impact in my own heart, my own life, and my walk with the Lord?
Well, that's great. Well, Jimmy and Susie, thanks so much for being with us today. And we're looking forward to having you with us in 2 weeks' time here.
We can't wait.
See you shortly.
See ya.